Have you ever wondered why some moments with a woman feel electric, like something invisible passes between you before a single word is spoken? It's not magic and it's not coincidence. It's psychology, it's biology, and it's the oldest form of communication we have, body language. What most people miss is that attraction isn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's hidden in the smallest gestures. The way she touches her neck while talking to you, the way she brushes her hair behind her ear, or the way her lips move when she's thinking. These moments aren't random. They're messages written by the subconscious, subtle signs that her mind and body are both speaking in a language older than words. In this video, we're going to decode that language, not to manipulate or assume, but to understand. Because once you learn to recognize the psychology behind a woman's gestures, you stop guessing and start noticing. You begin to see the patterns, the emotional cues, the invisible threads that reveal genuine interest. And more importantly, you learn how to respond with confidence, with respect, and with awareness. This isn't about tricks or games, it's about connection, understanding how attraction truly works beneath the surface. Because when you understand her body language, you're not just seeing her actions, you're feeling her emotions, her comfort, her curiosity, her subtle invitation to engage. So stay with me until the end of this video because what you're about to learn might completely change the way you read attraction. And it might open your eyes to the truth that real chemistry doesn't need words, it only needs awareness. Touch is one of the most profound and instinctive ways the human body communicates emotion, attraction, and comfort. It is more than just a physical act. It's an emotional language that reveals what words often conceal. When a woman touches certain parts of her body in the presence of someone she's drawn to, it's not always a deliberate action. In fact, most of the time, it's a subconscious response triggered by a mix of nervous energy, curiosity, and emotional openness. These gestures often come from the body's natural desire to soothe itself while simultaneously projecting confidence and allure. For example, when she lightly runs her fingers along her collarbone, traces her neck, or rests her hand near her lips, these motions are deeply rooted in psychology and physiology. The body uses self touch to release tension, calm the nervous system, and establish a sense of safety. Yet, in moments of attraction, this same action transforms into a nonverbal expression of interest and emotional availability. The nervous system plays a key role in how and why this happens. When a woman feels drawn to someone, her sympathetic nervous system becomes slightly activated. Her heart rate may rise, her breathing deepens, and her body seeks ways to balance that heightened arousal. Touching herself becomes a natural way to self regulate those sensations. It's an unconscious attempt to manage excitement and signal emotional warmth at the same time. Psychologically, self touching behaviors such as adjusting jewelry, brushing hair off the shoulder, or grazing fingertips across the lips are ways the body channels emotional energy outward. Each of these movements carries a subtle message. I'm aware of you, and I'm aware of how I feel around you. In social psychology, this is often called auto contact behavior, and it's one of the most telling nonverbal cues of emotional engagement. What makes it fascinating is that these gestures are rarely rehearsed or intentional. They happen in microseconds, emerging naturally when the brain and body are aligned in emotional focus. A woman who feels indifferent doesn't need to self soothe or draw attention through movement. Her body remains still, reserved, and neutral. But when attraction is present, the body expresses it instinctively through touch. These small gestures serve both to regulate internal feelings and to subtly communicate openness and confidence. There's also a deeper biological layer to this phenomenon. Certain areas of the body, like the neck, lips, or collarbone, are rich in nerve endings and sensitive to even the lightest contact. When a woman touches these areas, it can trigger mild stimulation that enhances her awareness of her body and emotions. This doesn't mean the gesture is consciously seductive. Rather, It's a biological reflection of heightened sensory awareness. The brain links this awareness to the emotional context of the moment, reinforcing feelings of attraction and connection. This cycle between thought, touch, and emotion creates a rhythm of communication that speaks louder than any words could. When seen through a psychological lens, touch becomes a bridge between emotion and expression. It allows attraction to be felt and shown simultaneously, translating inner emotion into visible cues. For anyone paying close attention, these gestures aren't about vanity or habit, they're signs of emotional resonance and comfort. The body speaks in these moments, revealing what the heart might still be too shy to say. It is in these quiet, subconscious movements that true attraction often whispers the loudest. Attraction often begins long before a single word is spoken, expressed through the subtle and unspoken language of the body. The human brain is wired to communicate interest, comfort, and desire through movement and gesture. And for women, this often reveals itself through small, almost imperceptible touches. When a woman feels drawn to someone, her nervous system activates in ways she may not even notice. Her heartbeat increases, her pupils dilate, and the body instinctively seeks to regulate that excitement through physical gestures. One of the most telling signs is when she touches her hair, her neck, or her lips in your presence. These are not random actions, they are subconscious signals tied to emotional and physiological responses. The touch becomes an outlet for nervous energy, a subtle display of femininity, and a nonverbal way of saying, I feel comfortable, open, and aware of you. The neck, for instance, is one of the most sensitive areas of the body, rich in nerve endings and close to the pulse points. When a woman touches or exposes her neck, she's unknowingly revealing vulnerability and trust. In psychology and evolutionary biology, this act is often interpreted as a primal cue of attraction and comfort, an ancient form of body language that transcends words. Similarly, when a woman plays with her hair, wraps it around her finger, or brushes it to one side while maintaining eye contact, it signals engagement and a desire to be noticed. It's her body's way of amplifying her presence, of saying without words, I'm aware of you, and I want you to notice me too. Touching the lips or the face holds another layer of meaning. The lips are one of the most expressive and sensual features of the human body, highly responsive to emotional and hormonal changes. When a woman touches her lips, bites them gently, or traces her jawline while talking to you, it's often a subconscious reflection of arousal and focus. Her mind might be fully engaged in conversation, but her body mirrors the heightened attention that attraction brings. These gestures are often subtle, fleeting, and natural, which is exactly what makes them powerful indicators of genuine interest rather than rehearsed behavior. Yet it's not just about where she touches, but how she does it. Light, slow, and repetitive touches often suggest comfort and intrigue. They are self soothing actions triggered by mild excitement, curiosity, or emotional warmth. Her body is responding to the chemical interplay between dopamine and adrenaline, the same mix that makes her feel slightly nervous but deeply engaged. These touches act as both an emotional release and an invitation signaling that she feels safe enough to express herself physically in your presence. The beauty of subconscious body language lies in its honesty. Unlike words, which can be chosen and filtered, these gestures arise from instinct. They are rooted in biology, in the ancient human need to connect, attract, and communicate nonverbally. Understanding these cues isn't about manipulation, it's about awareness, recognizing the delicate ways in which interest and comfort manifest. When you learn to see these signals, you begin to understand not just attraction, but the psychology of human connection itself. It's a silent conversation, one the body has been speaking since the beginning of time, and those who learn to listen to it gain a deeper, more authentic understanding of intimacy and desire. You said, explain this second keynote in 500 powerful words for targeted audience in details. Don't add subheadings and ending sentences. ChatGPT said attraction is not just emotional, It is profoundly biological, guided by an intricate dance of hormones and brain chemistry that shapes how we feel, act, and respond to someone we're drawn to. When a woman experiences attraction, her brain immediately begins releasing a surge of neurotransmitters and hormones designed to heighten attention, excitement, and pleasure. Dopamine, often referred to as the feel good chemical, floods the brain, stimulating the reward centers that make her feel energized, focused, and curious about the person in front of her. It's this rush of dopamine that makes her heart race, her palms warm, and her body subtly orient itself toward the source of her interest. This is the biology of attraction. Not fantasy, but chemistry in motion. Alongside dopamine, oxytocin, known as the bonding hormone, begins to play its part. Even before physical touch occurs, oxytocin levels can rise in anticipation, especially if emotional comfort and trust are present. This hormone encourages feelings of safety and connection, explaining why a woman's body language becomes softer, more open, and more expressive when she feels truly comfortable around someone. Her gestures slow down, her eyes linger longer, and her tone of voice changes as oxytocin and dopamine create a delicate balance between excitement and ease. This chemical combination is what allows genuine connection to form, turning attraction into emotional resonance rather than mere physical reaction. Norepinephrine also enters the equation, a stimulant that sharpens awareness and heightens physical responses. It's responsible for the butterflies in her stomach, the slight tremble in her hands, or the sudden urge to smile without reason. This hormone amplifies energy and alertness, preparing the body for deeper engagement. When a woman feels drawn to someone, her body releases norepinephrine to enhance her focus on that person, often without her realizing it. Her attention narrows, distractions fade, and her entire sensory system becomes tuned to the presence of the person she's interested in. This explains why, in moments of real attraction, time seems to slow down. Her brain is fully immersed in processing every gesture, word, and facial expression. What's fascinating is how these chemical reactions manifest outwardly as subconscious gestures. The very act of touching her hair, adjusting her posture, or leaning closer is often a physical response to this internal chemical surge. Her body becomes more expressive because the brain's pleasure and bonding centers are actively engaged. Even a light laugh or a gentle smile can be traced back to this neurochemical activity, reflecting a physiological harmony between mind and emotion. Every movement, every subtle touch carries within it the echo of the hormones working silently beneath the surface. Understanding this process isn't about decoding someone's behavior to gain control. It's about appreciating the remarkable interplay between the brain and the heart. Attraction is a language written in biology, one that transcends logic and cultural differences. It's the human body's most natural way of signaling interest, connection, and emotional availability. When we recognize these patterns, we don't just see gestures, we witness chemistry in its purest form, a biological masterpiece that transforms emotion into action, curiosity into connection, and simple awareness into something that feels both electric and deeply human. Context is everything when it comes to understanding human behavior, and this truth becomes especially important when interpreting a woman's gestures or touch. While certain movements, like touching her hair, lips, or neck, can signal attraction, those same gestures can mean entirely different things depending on the situation, her personality, or her cultural background. A woman might touch her hair because she's nervous, fix her necklace out of habit, or rest her hand on her neck as a natural posture. Interpreting these cues correctly requires emotional intelligence, patience, and respect. Without context, it's easy to project assumptions that may not align with reality. True understanding doesn't come from noticing a single gesture, it comes from observing patterns, timing, and the emotional atmosphere in which those gestures occur. Cultural awareness also plays a major role. What might seem flirtatious in one culture can be considered polite or even neutral in another. In some societies, eye contact and physical openness are signs of confidence, while in others, they might be seen as bold or inappropriate. Similarly, personal upbringing and comfort levels shape how a woman uses her body language. A naturally expressive person may gesture more freely, while someone more reserved may display fewer cues, even if she feels interest. This diversity means that attraction cannot be defined by one movement alone. It's the combination of subtle behaviors, tone of voice, and energy exchange that reveals the truth. Misreading signals by ignoring these nuances not only leads to misunderstanding, but can also create discomfort or miscommunication. Psychologically, context is influenced by the emotional setting. If a woman feels safe, relaxed, and genuinely engaged in conversation, her gestures will be fluid, natural, and often paired with warmth in her expression and tone. But if she feels anxious, distracted, or pressured, those same gestures might simply be self soothing or defensive. The brain uses body language as a mirror of emotional state, meaning the same motion can express two entirely different emotions based on the environment. That's why understanding attraction requires sensitivity and attentiveness. The goal is not to decode her actions as if they were a secret message, but to understand the emotional rhythm behind them. Respect is the most essential foundation in this awareness. Attraction cannot be forced or assumed. It must be mutual and grounded in understanding. When observing someone's gestures, one must do so with empathy, not expectation. The body speaks through emotion, not obligation, and any attempt to interpret these signals should always honor personal boundaries and consent. Every human being has their own way of expressing comfort and interest, and recognizing that individuality is what separates genuine connection from misinterpretation. Attraction is not just about reading someone else's signals, it's about emotional presence. When you're fully aware, respectful, and tuned in, you notice the flow of communication as it truly is a mix of biology, personality, and unspoken energy. The beauty of connection lies in understanding the moment as a whole, not dissecting it for proof of attraction. When context is understood, every gesture gains meaning, every look carries depth, and every interaction becomes a moment of authentic human exchange built not on assumption, but on awareness and respect. Attraction is most powerful when it goes beyond physical gestures and enters the realm of emotional connection. While body language can signal interest, it is emotional synchronization that sustains attraction and transforms it into something deeper. When a woman genuinely likes someone, her gestures, expressions, and tone align with an inner sense of comfort and safety. Her laughter becomes natural, her posture opens up, and her eye contact softens. These are not acts of performance, they are signs that her emotional state is in harmony with her environment. The chemistry that people often describe is not just biological, it's emotional resonance, where two nervous systems begin to mirror and respond to each other's signals unconsciously. This phenomenon, known in psychology as emotional attunement, is the foundation of authentic connection. It creates a space where both people feel seen, valued, and relaxed enough to be themselves. Touch and body language amplify this connection, but they only hold meaning when backed by genuine emotion. A simple touch on the arm, a lingering glance, or a shared smile feels powerful because it is charged with sincerity. The brain responds differently to these authentic gestures. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, is released when people share trust and comfort. This is why moments of genuine connection often feel electric yet peaceful at the same time. They're physically grounding, but emotionally uplifting. When a woman feels emotionally connected, her body language naturally mirrors that sense of closeness. She may lean in during conversation, match the other person's tone and rhythm, or make small physical gestures that reinforce unity. These actions come from instinct, not strategy. However, emotional connection requires reciprocity. Just as a woman's body reflects her emotional openness, the other person's response determines whether that connection deepens or fades. Emotional intelligence becomes crucial here, the ability to listen actively, to notice not only what is being said, but how it is being felt. When a man responds with respect, patience, and genuine curiosity, it signals safety, which in turn allows the woman to express herself more freely. This mutual responsiveness strengthens attraction because it creates a sense of equality and emotional balance. Both individuals feel validated, and their bodies respond with warmth and comfort rather than tension or guardedness. True attraction, therefore, is not just about noticing gestures, it's about responding to the emotional energy behind them. Every smile, every glance, every touch gains meaning when it happens within a space of mutual respect and emotional understanding. When two people are emotionally connected, the chemistry feels effortless, as if the body and mind are working together to sustain the bond. This is why relationships built purely on physical signals often fade quickly, while those grounded in emotional connection endure. The mind and body are inseparable in the experience of attraction, and when both are aligned, they create a magnetic pull that feels natural, respectful, and deeply human. It is in these moments of emotional reciprocity that attraction transforms from simple interest into lasting connection, a quiet but undeniable harmony between two people who truly see and feel each other. Understanding attraction is not about guessing or decoding someone's every move. It's about awareness, respect, and emotional intelligence. The small gestures, the subtle touches, and the quiet shifts in body language are the body's natural way of communicating what words sometimes cannot. When a woman touches her hair, her neck, or her lips in your presence, it might not just be habit. It could be her body expressing comfort, curiosity, and genuine interest. But the real key lies in context and connection. True attraction is not just physical, it's emotional, psychological, and deeply human. It happens when two people create a safe face space where body language flows naturally and emotions find harmony. When you begin to understand these psychological signals with empathy rather than assumption, you stop seeing attraction as a mystery and start seeing it as communication. Every gesture, every glance, every small moment becomes a window into authenticity, a reflection of trust and emotional alignment. Attraction is not about control or persuasion, it's about recognizing the beauty of connection in its most honest form. And when you approach it with awareness and respect, you begin to experience relationships that are not only exciting, but also meaningful and lasting. Thank you for taking the time to understand the deeper psychology behind attraction and body language. Knowledge like this doesn't just help you connect better with others, it helps you become more confident, grounded, and emotionally aware. Keep learning, keep observing, and remember that genuine connection always begins with understanding and respect. Wishing you confidence, clarity, and success in every relationship you build. Good luck, and thank you for watching. May every connection you make be rooted in truth, kindness, and authentic energy.